Good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks for coming in this morning with all of this information. So tell us, for those who don't know about Joburg, or those of us who moved here in the later years and weren't born here, what are some of the fascinating things, or what are some of the things we might not know about Egoli?
I think, as you say, Johannesburg has been built several times over. I think it is a city that is amazing because it has some extremely fine architecture, and that architecture has survived. We're an Art Deco city from the 1920s and 1930s. We have buildings such as Astor Mansions that really take their cue from New York. We're a city that's spread outwards. We have some extremely fine suburbs. My point of excitement most recently, and I've brought it along to share with you, is the discovery of an early map. It's actually quite late as history goes, but fascinating because it's 1932 and it shows the development of what I call the 7 suburbs, going northwards from Parktown, Westcliff, Forest Town, Parkview, Parkwood, Saxonwold.
Okay.
Now the point is Saxonwold used to be a huge forest area. Sassenwald. It was built only in the 1920s. It originally developed as a place to grow timber for the mines. All of Johannesburg's history is about its mines.
It is about the mines. So what are some of the oldest areas in Johannesburg
Oldest
that you would say we
areas,
should know about?
you really should be going downtown to Doornfontein, New Doornfontein, Jeppystown. Originally, people who lived in the camps then built their more permanent houses within the first 5 years, actually, quite close to the mines. And what's remarkable is how close those gold mines were. Think about the names: City Deep,
Yes.
Village Main.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of names, and then crown mines that really impinged upon the city. And so at a very early date, we had an incredible collection of mine dumps, slimes dams, the tailings heaps that came about because you needed to dispose. And these days they have been remined. So can you believe it? We've regarded these mine dumps now as part of our heritage. People are objecting to this industrial waste being moved because those mine dumps define Joburg.
Wow, okay, so some fascinating, I mean, I suppose you've got a whole lot of books there telling us about the then and now of Johannesburg as well, but we understand that it started off as like we said, a tented mining community. A number of mines.
Ferreira's Camp, Natal Camp were examples. Right close, the very earliest map of Johannesburg was a hand-drawn map at the end of 1886 by John Hunter MacLeay. Very fascinating. A new book has just been produced by Mark Latilla, Johannesburg Then and Now. Team effort.
Are there before and after pictures?
That's right. Not quite the before and after. We haven't arrived at the after. But it's been a challenge. Here, for example, is the photographs of Johannesburg Cenotaph. And being the month of November and 100 years since the First World War, we gathered at the Cenotaph on Sunday. More than 150 wreaths were laid to commemorate Johannesburg's and South Africa's contribution not only in the First World War, but in all wars since. So this is like a sacred place. I can turn almost to any page and discuss the details of the buildings with height. The Johannesburg Station is a late 1920s building that's well worth looking at. We have here Park Station. Today we have the survival of the canopy. This came to us in prefabricated form. This was something else that happened in Johannesburg. And a very nice example is what I've brought along here, the water tower a very exciting discovery. Do you recognize it? It's
that.
the Yeovil Water Tower on the ridge overlooking Johannesburg.
Are these the plans? What is this?
Yes.
Wow.
This is the plan. It's a structural engineering drawing that came to us from Dortmund. And it says here the 2nd of January 1913.
Is that 1913?
And this was then a German firm of really specialists in water tower, because water was always an issue for Joburg.
It still is now. So, you know. Prof, I'd like to know from you, if you were to advise anybody to, you know, what are the must-sees if you want to learn about our heritage and about Johannesburg? What should you go and see? Also things that have stood the test of time.
Constitutional Hill and the fort really started as a prison. Downtown Johannesburg, the mining area, the Rand Club, which has been magnificently redeveloped recently. There's a new and wonderful art gallery and map studio that's been placed into the basement. I think what you need to do is walk Johannesburg.
Walk Johannesburg.
I think walk Joburg, but really, of course, be streetwise and savvy.
Of course. All right. Thanks very much for that. Some interesting things. I've learned so much in just, 5 minutes? That's Professor Kathy Monroe, Vice Chairperson of the Johannesburg Heritage Foundation. Here